What's up, guys? Welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. And I'm here in Aruba, about 2 weeks out from the Mr. Olympia Classic Physique. And a while ago, I promised you guys I would still do a Q&A video. And on my Instagram, at Wesley Vissers, if you don't follow me yet, make sure to do so. I asked you guys if you had any questions on an Instagram story, and I screenshotted a lot of your questions. And I'm going to show you right now that you can see that some of the questions are what you would expect, but there's also some questions that are, good to answer in a video like this. So let me just get started without any further ado. First question by ZyFitness_. What are the benefits of using turmeric? Now, turmeric is the yellow root powder that I actually use in all of my rice meals. So I'm known for the golden rice meal guy. So that gives it a golden color. But the turmeric powder itself doesn't provide as many health benefits as the Curcuma longa BCM 95 supplement. It's a long name, but all it means is that the essence from the raw turmeric root is taken and concentrated, and it's made in a way that you can actually absorb it. So the bioavailability is very high. With normal turmeric extract, the bioavailability is very low because it doesn't absorb through the intestines almost at all. Some like to add black pepper, which enhances the absorption and digestion, but nothing compared to actually that supplement I just mentioned. So what you want to do is take 2 of those capsules of 500 milligrams as far away from the workout as possible, because it's an antioxidant supplement, very strong. If you take it close to the workout, it's gonna actually possibly blunt the effect of muscle growth from the workout you had. So that is just one of the strong effects of the supplement. On top of that, it lowers systemic inflammation. So if you have trouble with your joints, with your tendons, pains here and there, holding water, being toxic in general, adding curcuma extract to your supplement regimen every single day will be of great help. And there's a study out there, a lot of literature out there, that is good for like 50 plus ailments, from arthritis to a lot of other diseases. I don't even want to say cancer, but I am 100%, minus 1%, 99% sure that it's mentioned there that would even be good for people suffering from diseases like that. So it's a really awesome supplement to use and very healthy for sure. Next question by Henry Toss. How often do you and did you train your calves when you started and now? I've always trained my calves twice a week. So normally, for example, if I train legs on a Monday and on a Thursday, that's when I train the calves. Always 2 movements, 1 standing calf raise and 1 seated calf raise, because that way you train all the muscles in the calves. You train it from a different angle, which is what bodybuilding is all about, and use full range of motion. So all the way down, get a stretch, all the way up, get a contraction. If you only do half range of motion, they won't respond, they won't grow. So my calves are pretty developed right now because I've been training them since the very beginning, at least 12 years. I've been training for about 14 years now, but at least 12 years I've been training the calves hard. And I used to have very thin calves, but they have a long insertion. So adding mass over time made them quite voluminous indeed. Next question by John Dalo. Best ways to bust through a weight plateau without dropping calories too much. So what he's already implying is that you need to drop calories in order to drop body weight. What you can also do is keep the calories the same and do the same thing as I do, track your steps. Just increase your steps by 500 steps a day, take more of them throughout the day, add 10 minutes of cardio, so up your activity. But guess what? There's also a training hour to 2 hours a day that you have that you can utilize to make it more intense. So your body actually demands more calories, more carbs, and thus burns more fat if you are in a caloric deficit. So adding intensifying techniques like a cluster set or using 2 separate working sets with heavy weights, correct form, but heavy weights, so doing warm-ups first. Don't view the volume of a workout as burning fat. You have to lift as heavy as you can with good form. That actually burns way more calories than simply going through the motions on random exercises. So up your training intensity, up your activity level, up your cardio, and that will actually allow you to bust through a weight plateau without changing your calories at all. I also have some separate questions on my phone from screenshots I made of people asking me questions through DM. So sometimes I simply don't have the time to answer questions individually. So most of the time I do, but mostly then there will be short answers. So I'm able to now answer in a longer way. So by Beast S19, which type of massage and physical therapy is needed and how many times in a month? So the types of massage to me is always a deep tissue massage because it helps break up the fascia of the muscle, which if it's not broken up, it can actually be more difficult to grow muscle mass. Yes, kind of bro science, but at the same time, I notice a difference myself. It releases toxins, so a deep tissue massage can actually help release toxins from the muscle being worked. I like to work the legs the most. Or, for example, if you have shoulder impingements, you can still work, get your shoulders worked on to make sure they are freed up. So, in my opinion, you can do once a week maintenance deep tissue massage to get rid of some toxins, or if you know that you work out legs on a Monday, have the massage on a Tuesday, recover quicker, actually get more definition, get rid of some extra water weight because of inflammation, all of that good stuff. And on top of that, add extra therapy sessions if you have any slight nagging injury, not a true muscle tear or anything, because you're not supposed to massage those. But for example, as I mentioned, the shoulder, if you have trouble bench pressing without pain, getting that fixed through a massage is a very good option because it helped for me quite a lot. Next question by Nicholas FRB. Hey champ, I have a question about your training principle. So you are doing 3 to 5 warm-ups and then 2 working sets or less. So it's kind of a HIIT training because I think you don't count the warm-ups to your entire workout. That is very true except for the HIIT training. Well, it is high intensity training, that is true, but most people, don't see it as that. So basically what I'm doing is the warm-ups are exactly what they are. Warm-ups. You're warming up the muscle before you attack it with the heaviest weight, which will go to failure. So during the warm-ups, the first set will always be around 10 to 12 reps with a light weight. Get into the motion, make sure there's blood in the muscle, get a good pump, well not a good pump, but get a good warm feeling throughout the muscle, get blood in there without fatiguing the muscle. If you fatigue the muscle in the sets before your working sets, it might take 1 or 2 reps away from the working sets. And the working sets are the only sets that maximize muscle growth because they achieve the most mechanical tension on the muscle fibers, and that causes the most muscle growth. So I used to be the same guy as most people are by doing straight sets of 10 reps, going heavier and heavier and heavier until I happen to hit a set that I can't do 10 reps with anymore and automatically hit failure. This worked really well for the first 7 years of training, but when you then notice you have weak points training this way, so some body parts aren't as genetically gifted as others, you have to take your training more seriously and think about why am I not growing as quickly here as I would like to. For me, it was the legs. So the upper body for me, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it was always easier to grow than the legs. It has to do with me being tall, stuff like that, but that's not an excuse. I don't want to use an excuse for this. My true reason is that I didn't train the legs heavy enough because I already pre-fatigued them with a lot of straight sets before. So, for example, on the hack squat, I could do 5 sets, where set number 5 would be to failure, but all the other sets would also be quite hard, progressively getting harder. That automatically warms up the muscle, which is very good, very healthy, so any beginner, I'd recommend starting out this way. But when you don't fatigue the muscle in the sets before the last 1 or 2 working sets, you have more energy, more oxygen, more carbs, more glycogen, and more oomph left to give it your all in those last working sets. You can do a heavier weight, you can do more reps, so the muscle will be taxed way more compared to doing all those straight sets before. And that is what grows muscle. So you can apply this to any muscle group, except for some exceptions like the side delts, in my opinion at least, and the biceps. The triceps can a little bit because they're stronger, but for the smaller and weaker muscle groups, it might only be a danger because they are isolation muscles. And if you go way too heavy, then that might cause injuries. So the straight set technique, allows you to train for quite a long time and make progress without injuries because you warm up automatically and you won't go to very heavy weights. But if you want to make the most progress, you simply have to view the warm-ups as true warm-ups, not fatiguing the muscle and really taxing the muscle only in those 1 or 2 sets at the end of the exercise. Alrighty, next question by Mark.Keyfuri.1. Hi, how many meals that contain protein do you recommend eating per day? So I personally, in the off season, have eaten 5 meals a day. And all bodybuilders nowadays say, 6 meals a day is the best way to go. In my opinion, the difference between 5 and 6 is so negligible for most people that it won't really matter as long as the protein count in total is high enough. So in the off season, the reason why I only had 5 meals is because it was more practical. If it was 6 meals, I would have only 1 hour in between at least some meals or have to stay up later and neglect my sleep. So that would have been more detrimental than beneficial compared to eating 6 meals to 5 meals. So when I'm in prep though, the meals are smaller and I make sure that I have more time because then the priority is the contest. So right now I'm in Aruba in an apartment. I have all the time in the world. So that's why I love doing these videos as well right now, every single day. But I'm eating 6 meals a day right now. So your question is, how many meals should you eat that contain protein? What you have to remember is that you have to maximize the amount of muscle protein synthesis is occurring throughout the day. So what I actually did, I had 5 meals in the off season, but also a shake right after the training. So that's 6 moments in the day where you have a spike in muscle protein synthesis. And that's what you want. You could also say, I can eat 2 meals or 3 meals and equate my protein to as much as I would eat 6 meals, but simply double the protein in each of those meals then. Well, that won't matter because this is the limit of the maximum muscle protein synthesis. If you eat right here, nothing else is going to happen here. It's just going to be extra protein that sits around doing nothing but, be used for energy or sit around or ultimately be expelled from the body. At least it won't help you grow more muscle. So if you have 6 meals or 5 meals a day, you won't go beyond that threshold and you will have 5 to 6 maximum spikes in muscle growth. So the more spikes per day you have, the better, because if you have 4 or 3 or 2, it's less spikes and they won't be higher than the 5 or 6 spikes. So the more spikes, the better it is. Now, when you go above 6, the time in between the spikes will be smaller and the time has to be at least, according to literature, around 2 hours for it to be reset again, because otherwise, if you eat too quickly, you won't get another spike because the previous muscle protein synthesis process hasn't been finished yet. So that's why 5 to 6 meals is always recommended, because it's practical, it fits in a day, and it maximizes muscle growth. Next question by Marcus.Simlinger. Hey Wes, been following you a long time and wondering if you do all your nutrition etc. by yourself, or do you also have a coach? Well, I used to have a coach, but even when I had a coach, I still made all my meals. I still pretty much did all of the nutrition myself, except for the coach telling me this is how many carbs you need, protein and fats. But other than that, I did everything myself in terms of the vegetables, choosing the types of carbs and the protein sources. But right now I do 100% everything myself in this prep, because I know my body quite well. I'm experienced in competitions by now. This is the second time we're doing the Olympia. I've won multiple pro shows, so I know what works and what doesn't. And on top of that, I am a registered dietitian. I studied nutrition and dietetics, so I also learned the scientific background of what food can do for your body. The whole reason why I became a dietitian is because I noticed the incredible changes nutrition can make in your body as a bodybuilder. When I did the first bodybuilding contest, the only thing that I changed was nutrition, and my body transformed. And that's what I want to tell you guys. Naturally, with proper nutrition and training and rest, you can achieve so much more than you think. Don't underestimate it. At least it inspired me to become a dietitian, because of the incredible changes that you can see in the body as long as you're disciplined and consistent. But yeah, I do everything myself, the training, the nutrition, the supplements. There's nothing right now that someone is advising me in, except for William Bonek. Sometimes he's giving me tips. He is number 2 in the entire world, of course. So, he's giving me some practical tips. But, in training, for example, if you saw my chest workout with him, he explained to me some, variants I can do, I can make, I can apply to my chest exercises to make sure that I hit the chest and not the front delts, stuff like this. When someone like William says stuff like this, you take it seriously. But other than that, there is no one except for me. All right, the next question has been asked by many people, and that's, how is little Dexter doing? My son, who is today actually 13 weeks old, and if you didn't know yet, I am a father of a 13-year-old son, which right now kind of sucks, because I'm here in Aruba I will be home. It's gonna take more than 2 weeks still, so in total I would be gone for 3 weeks from my newborn baby and my girlfriend, who is his mother. So that kind of sucks, because I really want to see him grow up every single day. You can see him change every single day. He's growing in terms of length really quickly, so I think he might actually become taller than me. My girlfriend isn't that tall, so some people might say, well, he's going to be in between you two, but at the rate he's growing right now, I would say he's becoming quite tall and strong, because he can kick and punch and scream all very intensely. But he's doing great. He is sleeping better and better, 5 to 6 hours a night already. So he's also getting a lot of feedings in, the most anabolic substance in the universe, not only in the world, the universe, breast milk. It literally contains substances that we as humans cannot recreate yet. So it's the most healthy possible thing that Dexter can take into his body. And he does it more times than most bodybuilders do. 7 to 8 times a day sometimes. And so he's more consistent, more disciplined, and just a better follower of the lifestyle of a bodybuilder than me myself. So he's doing very well. And I'm very excited to head back after the Olympia and see him and my girlfriend once again. Another question a lot of people ask me is, what do I expect of this Classic Physique Olympia in terms of my placing? Well, there's 2 things that I'm expecting. If I nail my conditioning, and I'm telling you guys, I say if, but the way things are going right now, the conditioning is really there. But again, you never know if something happens in terms of water or stuff like this, but I will make sure the risk is kept to a minimum. But if the conditioning is nailed, I'm certain that a top 6 place should be possible. If you then purely look at my physique and the rest, I have the muscle mass, I have the dominance, I have the body parts, I have the poses, and then the conditioning. There's not much more that they could want to see of me to not get into that top 6. However, if I'm slightly off, and only slightly off, then I think top 10 is a possibility, which is still much better than I've ever done at the Olympia. But I do have to say, the previous Olympia, my shape was the worst it has been for, pretty much the worst it had been, which sucks because it's the Olympia, but it was also contest number 4 or 5 back to back, and my body was like, well, I'm gonna give up. You might want to do this show, but I'm gonna say goodbye and I want to recover. So that's kind of what happened. The peak went wrong, didn't go as expected. So this time I took a lot longer time off. So I go into the prep really fresh. I built some more muscle, fixed some of my weak points. The legs are bigger, the back is bigger, the triceps are bigger. And the fact that it's more difficult to get below the weight limit right now tells me that I built a lot more muscle mass while at the same time being more conditioned. So muscle mass has been added in the right places. So I expect and want a top 6, but having a top 10 placing would also make me very happy, because then you can say, well, I'm a top 10 guy in Classic Physique of the world. But in all honesty, I really want to go for the top 6, because that means the first call out. That means that I'm allowed to pose in the evening in the finals. So I don't just want to do the prejudging, I want to go to the finals as well and be properly compared to the top guys like Chris and Brian and whoever else might be in the top 6. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Ask your questions once more below this video, because I will be doing more Q&A videos throughout the time I'll be here. I expect more of the questions to be about the Olympia, but they can be anything that you want it to be. I'm going to do my best to answer them to the fullest of my ability. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.